Okay, estamos aquí en Guate. We are here in Guatemala. We are back, and me and some of my friends from Belize will be climbing Acatenango Volcano, and we will be seeing just a little bit of Semana Santa, which is Holy Week, which is the festivities leading up to Easter.
I feel like most people would have a heart attack just thinking about this, but I had 3 flights to get to Guatemala. I did New York to Charlotte, Charlotte to Miami, and then Miami to Guatemala. Once I got through immigration, I met up with none other than Trevor, Brittany, and Michelle, the Belizean crew, minus Victoria, for this trip. And for whatever reason, the shuttle that we booked was an entire bus, so we had the entire bus to ourselves for the drive to Antigua. Once we made it into Antigua, we threw our bags down. We were staying at Selena's hostel, and we ran straight to get food. We were all starving. Some of us were a little more hangry than others, but we headed over to Casa de Sopas, which has such good traditional Guatemalan soups. I highly recommend it. After lunch, we just walked around for a bit, headed over to the square, just took in our surroundings, grabbed some snacks. We also went to this really cool bookstore. I've been wanting to get some books in Spanish just to continue practicing my reading. From there, we went to one of my favorite places in the whole city, the markets. Now, when I tell you there's so much to see in this market, you'll go from like the seafood section to the fruits and veggies, and then you'll get like sneakers or like soccer jerseys. It has everything: sneakers, clothes, sunglasses, movies. There's restaurants within the market. It's such a cool thing to see, and the people of Guatemala in general are just the nicest people ever. But like when I'm using my camera and I just want to talk to people and hear anything, like they're just so open and they're so kind. It's awesome. After the market, we winded down, had our complimentary drinks at the hostel, and just grabbed some street food for dinner because the following day starts our journey up Acatenango Volcano. And as you can see, when we were having dinner, I made a little friend at the fountain. Alright, we're climbing Acatenango. Let's go. We have Brittany, Trevor. We have Trevor.
You have me, Zach.
Michelle.
Alright, before we get into it, I'm just going to show you guys how we got to the base of the volcano. So we met at Barco Expeditions, which is super close to the hostel. It's about a 10-minute walk. Everybody was pissed because I didn't realize we weren't getting breakfast, so we chugged some yogurts. And we had to walk over to our shuttle because a lot of the roads were closed for Semana Santa. But once we got on the bus, everybody was pretty calm. They gave us these gigantic water bottles. Absurd. Luckily, they fit on either side of our hiking packs. We were just messing around, but they gave us our lunches, which you have to carry yourself. The ride up is a little bumpy, honestly, really not that bad. Which then brings us back to the base of the volcano, where our lovely friend Michelle was the translator for the group, because a lot of people that booked it didn't realize they booked the tour that is completely in Spanish. After the briefing, we all started the hike, and Brittany thought she was going to die about 3 seconds in. And the views were just stunning. It was really cool. But honestly, the worst part of the hike was the beginning, just because I think we were trying to adjust to the atmosphere that we were in. But we eventually made our way up to the first checkpoint. So as you're going up, you take around 6 breaks to acclimate to the altitude changes.
We had a great time climbing up. Easy peasy. I got a protein bar from my mom from Chile.
After a lot more hiking, we finally stopped for lunch for a bit. I played around with the drone, and then we continued on. you'll notice I made a furry friend. Now, this guy stayed with us the entire time. It was incredible. But at this point, it was getting much colder because we were much higher up, so we added some layers before continuing on. Now, I brought 3 layers for my upper body. I just brought a pair of pants and some ski socks. I was a little cold, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. I would bring more layers, though, if you are a colder person. Honestly, once you break through the clouds, it feels like you're on a different planet. So once we finally made it to the base camp, this is actually where we slept for the night, on the side of the volcano. Now, I'll be totally honest, the accommodations were not ideal. We were sleeping like sardines. I literally slept like 5 inches away from a stranger. But in terms of the volcano, there hasn't really been any eruptions for the past couple of weeks, but you can see some lava right over there. And we pretty much just hung out by the fire, had some hot chocolate, had a little bit of dinner, and then we had some wise words from Michelle.
I want to do this. I'm gonna be like a frozen poopsicle.
Because it's super cold.
Frozen poopsicle.
Here's Michelle.
I don't have regrets. I've lived a good life. And if I was too much for you, then you need less.
Alright, we're up at 3:30 tomorrow morning to hike the summit. Let's see if we're not completely frozen by the morning.
I'm gonna be a frozen poopsicle.
The silence was very loud at 3:30 in the morning. I swear no one said a peep. But about 10 minutes in, some of my friends decided to turn back, so I was kind of on my own with the group, of course, but made my little puppy dog friend here, gave him some water, so he stuck with me for a bit. It was brutal. It was hard to see. I did not like how dark it was. But what I will say is that the hike was totally worth it. We got there just in time for sunrise. You get a full 360-degree view. You could see all the different volcanoes surrounding. The views were really great, but honestly, once the sun broke the horizon, some clouds started rolling in. It got pretty windy, everybody was cold, and they had us staying out there for a bit longer than everybody would have liked. So we started our descent, and it was rough. Like, everybody was slipping, there was a lot going on, people were getting nervous, but we eventually made it back down. And as I was getting back to base camp, the group that didn't go up, so the group that all my friends were with, were starting their descent, so I skipped breakfast and immediately started continuing on with them. So I was tired by the end of this. And honestly, it was pretty funny how happy everybody was to start the descent. You could see a lot of smiles on the descent because we did not see a lot on the ascent. Once we finally made it back down to the base of the volcano, we said goodbye to our guides. We hopped on a shuttle and headed back to Antigua, where we were greeted by all of the processions. It was loud. We just wanted to rest, but there was so much to see, so we showered up and headed right out into the crowd to explore. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of background, during Semana Santa in Antigua, it totally changes. Like, there's vibrant colors all over the city. And the air, like the smell, there's incense all throughout. You'll see smoke throughout the streets. And the sounds, it's so loud, it echoes. The bands are playing, typically like funeral marches. And throughout most of the week, people are wearing purple throughout the time of Lent. But once Good Friday comes, which is the day that Jesus was crucified, everybody switches to black. The men are called the cucuruchos, which they are carrying the floats of the statues of Christ, other religious figures. And the women are the devotas or the cargadoras, and they switch back and forth. I forgot what the actual distance was, but after a certain distance that they are walking, the men and women will switch and they will carry the float for a certain distance. And it's really interesting how into it everybody gets. There's even people dressed as the Romans. At this point, we were running on fumes. Michelle and I went to one of the markets, grabbed some food, kind of just tried winding down while also exploring. Now, at this point, we were actually all exhausted. We grabbed some tacos for dinner, but on the way back, we saw some people making the Alombras, which are the carpets in the street that they make for the processions, which we will touch a little bit more on that the next day. Please forgive me with the translations. I'm trying my very best. Here we met up with Danny to ask him a few questions about the alfombras and learn a little bit about what Semana Santa means to him.
¿Cuál es la significancia? No sé cómo se dice en español.
El significado de las alfombras
sí.
surge del momento en cuando Jesús llega a Jerusalén y todos lo reciben con ramos, con flores, las tiran al suelo para que Él camine con la cruz sobre las flores. Entonces aquí en Antigua lo hacemos con acerrín, que es el polvo de la madera, se podría decir, o lo podemos hacer también con flores. Entonces ese es el significado, que Jesús, a pesar de sus sufrimientos con la cruz, pase en un lugar cómodo para seguir su camino a la crucifixión.
Oh, qué hermoso.
Así es, así es.
¿Y por tú mismo qué significa?
Para mí es cultura, es parte de la cultura de Guatemala, es tradición y significa tal vez también familia y amigos. Lo hacemos con amigos, primos, hermanas, mi mamá. Entonces significa básicamente cultura de Guatemala.
Comunidad, ¿no?
Comunidad, ajá, ser comunidad. Porque también se unen vecinos, se unen gente de todos lados. A veces vienen chicos de otros países y nos dicen, ¿podemos ayudar? Y claro, y ayudan un momento y todo.
Now, believe it or not, all of the figurines in this alfombra are made of bread. It's really cool. And after walking around for a bit, Michelle and I grabbed some lunch before walking around even more, and that is where I got my original idea for the tattoo that I will be getting.
All right, we are here in Antigua, and as you guys know, I love to get different tattoos in the different countries that I have visited. I've already gotten a tattoo in Guatemala one of the last times I was here, but we have some good ideas. We found a great shop, a great artist, so let's go.
I start to meet with a lot of people that was saying to me like, you are a tattoo artist, right? Like, and I was like, no, you're gonna be a tattoo artist. Okay. And that's pretty much how I started. Every customer is different. Every experience is different. It's like traveling at the same time. You travel through people's perspectives. I'm just trying to be myself. And I think that's what brings you a lot of happiness and wealth without looking for it, right?
My hair is blowing in the wind.
Before we figured out what I was doing, we had to grab some pollo campero for lunch. As you can see, I was very happy with the decision.
Middle part? That would be great. Well, yeah.
Eventually, Trevor and Brittany finally showed up, and immediately they had a big spill on the floor. But I have my idea. I said I'd never get color tattoos, but here we are. The piece came out incredible, but just you can watch and see how delirious we got. Me and Michelle were there from 2 p.m. until we left, which was at like 1:30 in the morning.
it.
And believe it or not, after the tattoo, I've been thinking about this for a while now. I finally got my ears pierced. You guys don't want to see all of it. It's nasty. I just sped it up and you could see quick result. But yeah. And after we ended up getting street food with Francisco anyway, and it was such a good night. Great experience. Glad we met him and have another great connection in Antigua. We are on our way back to New York, Guatemala. Once again, it has been a pleasure. Mil gracias, and let's go see the rest of the world.